Lesson 101. Relative clauses 1. Relative pronoun. Relate to. I have a black cat. I have a cat which is black. What is a relative clause?
A relative clause is a clause that we use to describe a noun.
Where do we put a relative clause?
We put a relative clause immediately after the noun it describes.
What do we call the words who, which, and that?
We call the words who, which, and that relative pronouns.
What's the difference between who, which, and that?
The difference between who, which, and that is that we use who for people, which for things and animals, and that for people, things, and animals.
Give me a sentence with a relative clause in it, please.
I know a man who lives in that street. The film that I saw yesterday was great.
Now I will say two sentences and I want you to join them together using a relative clause. Yesterday I saw a film. The film lasted for 3 hours.
Yesterday I saw a film that lasted for 3 hours.
Mary has a friend. Her friend lives on a boat.
Mary has a friend that lives on a boat.
I am reading a book. My mother gave me the book.
I am reading a book which my mother gave me.
The waiter dropped a tray. He was carrying the tray.
The waiter dropped the tray which he was carrying.
Proper, player, side, doorway. What is the proper number of players on each side for a game of football?
The proper number of players on each side for a game of football is 11.
Is it considered improper behavior in this country for a man to go through a doorway in front of a woman?
Yes, it's considered improper behavior in this country for a man to go through a doorway in front of a woman.
Backwards, forwards, sideways, upwards, downwards. What do the words backwards, forwards, sideways, etc. mean?
The words backwards, forwards, sideways, etc. mean towards the back, towards the front, towards the side, etc.
What am I doing?
You're moving backwards and forwards.
What am I doing?
You're moving sideways.
What's my hand doing?
Your hand's moving upwards and downwards.
Count the numbers in English from 10 to 15 backwards quickly.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
What's she doing?
She's counting the numbers in English from 10 to 15 backwards quickly.
Look up at the ceiling, please. Is she looking upwards or downwards?
She's looking upwards.
Irritate. What kind of music irritates you?
The kind of music that irritates me is rap music.
When you're in a restaurant, do you get irritated if people at another table are talking very loudly?
Yes. When I'm in a restaurant, I get irritated if people at another table are talking very loudly.
As a rule. As a rule, do people in your town go to the cinema more on Saturday evenings than on Sunday evenings, or vice versa?
As a rule, people in my town go to the cinema more on Saturday evenings than on Sunday evenings.
Waste. What do we do with waste paper?
We throw waste paper away.
Do you think it's a waste of time learning a foreign language which is little spoken in the world?
No, I don't think it's a waste of time learning a foreign language which is little spoken in the world.
What kind of things do you consider to be a waste of time?
The kind of things I consider to be a waste of time are watching television and sleeping too much.
What kind of things do you consider to be a waste of money?
The kind of things I consider to be a waste of money are cigarettes and alcohol.
Why?
Because they aren't necessary.
Do you ever waste your money?
Yes, I sometimes waste my money.
On what?
Clothes and alcohol.
Do you ever waste your time?
Yes, I sometimes waste my time.
How?
By sleeping too much.
Use of contractions. When do we use contractions and when don't we use them?
We use contractions in conversation, but not often in writing, especially formal writing.
Terrible. What do you think's the most terrible thing that can happen to someone?
I think the most terrible thing that can happen to someone is to die slowly in great pain.
Leadership. Would you like to have the leadership of your country in your hands?
Yes, I'd like to have the leadership of my country in my hands.
Why?
Because I think I'd do a good job.
Market. Do you have a market in the middle of your hometown?
Yes, we have a market in the middle of my hometown.
Wonder. Wonderful. So many. Pyramid. Do you ever wonder what will happen to you in the future?
Yes, I sometimes wonder what'll happen to me in the future.
What do you suppose will happen to you in the future?
I suppose that I will get married and travel the world.
Have you ever wondered why some people are rich whilst others are poor?
Yes, I've sometimes wondered why some people are rich whilst others are poor.
Why are children more often filled with wonder than adults?
I think the reason children are more often filled with wonder than adults is that so many things are new to them.
Name me one of the 7 wonders of the world.
The pyramids are one of the 7 wonders of the world.
What's the most wonderful thing that has ever happened to you in your life?
The most wonderful thing that has ever happened to me in my life was when I travelled America.
Idiom 2. Fed up equals bored and tired. What does the idiom fed up mean?
The idiom fed up means bored and tired.
Give me an example, please.
I'm just fed up with everything.